Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and let's talk about buying Snap-on tools on eBay. It seems like there are about 4 different main tangents on how Snap-on tools wind up on eBay. First is obviously vintage, collectibles, old tools that people are just moving on to somebody else who would appreciate that. Another one is there seem to be like what I call set fillers. People get a hold of like a tray of sockets or a set of wrenches or something, and then they sell them all individually. And that allows people to either buy a bunch of them, and build their own set, or fill in that lost or broken one in a set, especially with sockets. So you can go just dial it down to exactly what it is that you want, and that's kind of nice. But then there are 2 others. On the shadier side, there seems to be a lot of people now who are selling broken Snap-on tools on eBay, and my guess is that, if you have a good relationship with your Snap-on franchisee, you might be able to trade anything in for a, or warranty anything. So you could go on and buy a broken something or other and then actually just take it back to the truck and get a brand new one. And they're being sold saying they're broken. I even wonder sometimes if there are franchisees or others who are selling and buying on eBay. And then of course there's the person who's just selling tools, but may have access to a bunch of them, and that also could be the Snap-on franchisee. It makes me wonder, because sometimes there's all kinds of brand new stuff, and in fact maybe multiples. You can, there are 15 or 20 or 100 available of some new player or something like that. So why would you buy off eBay? Well, obviously there's, you can fill your set, or you can get a good deal, or it's fun just kind of shopping and bidding. And but also there's a lot of places in the world that do not have access to Snap-on tools. There are no trucks, there's no franchisee, online may not ship to them or something, or cost too much. So eBay might be the way you can get Snap-on tools. And Snap-on tools are actually highly desired by a lot of people, and a few of them in particular, the wrenches, sometimes the screwdrivers, obviously the sockets and the ratchets are a big deal. But there's also just a lot of people who seem to have access to Snap-on tools somehow that put them up on eBay, so you can get almost anything new. It's the older stuff, maybe the things that don't have either a current version, they've been discontinued, or maybe people like the older version better, whether it's a screwdriver style handle or something. But anyway, what I've got here is a box that contains hopefully what I bought on eBay. I've had mostly good experiences. Usually the only bad stuff is if it's in a little bit worse condition, or there were initials carved in it that they didn't mention. That's always a bummer. But anyway, this one was listed with a whole bunch of other odds and ends. It wasn't necessarily a Snap-on or a tool seller. It was just part of the set of stuff they were offering. And I watched it for a while, and then finally, bid on it and won. And it met my rule of being much less than half the price of what it would be on the Snap-on truck. And it's actually a plier I've had before. It's a battery terminal plier. This is the newer one, new style. I could tell it was pretty dirty online. I didn't have any real hesitation, though, because I couldn't see a lot of damage anywhere. I could see maybe a little bit of rust, but that's on the black Snap-on stuff, that's normal. And then I didn't see any gouges or cuts or missing parts of the handle. Or the dipped handles, so that's always a good sign. Battery pliers, they get dirty, but they aren't a hard-use tool. This one happens to have that off-the-truck stiffness I hate, and the handles are all gooey. But it looked in great shape under scrutiny. So what I'm going to end up doing is cleaning the thing up, and I bet I can get it looking almost new. Now, a lot of times Snap-on tools online, there's like a reason they're online, and you end up paying for that. But there are just also a lot of people who are turning over tools. They shop in pawn shops, used stores, buy estate sale stuff, and then just put all of it online. That's just what they do. Sometimes they're just retired folks. Sometimes it's pawn shops doing it themselves. Sometimes it's secondhand stores that, when they get a nice tool in, what do? It goes on eBay. They don't even bother really trying to sell it locally because maybe they don't have a big enough market or it's saturated, or they can get more money on eBay. That's pretty common. So a lot of people buy and sell Snap-on tools on eBay. It's a whole nother market. In fact, I really think franchisees are jumping in the game as well. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised that everyone's getting in on the game. eBay is going to celebrate its 30th birthday next year. And in fact, the very first thing ever sold on eBay was a broken laser pointer. So there's that. So let's see how this thing turned out. Looks almost new. I used 2 tub of towels, a little bit of wire brushing, and overall, I wouldn't be surprised if it looked like this straight off the Snap-on truck ceiling. There are a couple of places here and down over here that I couldn't get cleaned up. I tried even scraping them. I don't know what happened there, but that's totally fine. It's a tool. It's going to get used. But it looks almost new once you clean up a little bit on it. And I could not get it to be very smooth. Didn't have that crunchiness I talked about in a previous video, but it's good enough. I'm happy. It was inexpensive. I'll try it again. If I don't like it after a while, I'll probably sell it and then buy it again in 5 years. Anyway, tell me about your eBay stories. And with that, Doc out.